The news at 6 starts with breaking news. Multiple fires forcing evacuations. In Tuolumne County, the 6.5 fire has now burned nearly 3,000 acres, sparking just after 10:30 this morning. It started in the area of Don Pedro near Old Don Pedro Road. In Calaveras County, evacuation orders are in place as the 2.7 fire burns, spreading toward the town of Murphys. That fire is now at 500 acres and growing. Those fires and more are part of what's now being called the September Lightning Complex Fire. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Laura Painter. ABC 10's Garshpal Sangha is live in Calaveras County right now. And Garshpal, the last time we talked, you had some good news on the firefight. What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, Laura, things are looking much better here, and they're looking much better. You can take a look at the sky. Things are starting to clear up, and it's because of these helicopters and the ground crews that are the reason why they have been able to get the upper hand, and the reason why you need these airplanes, because this is very rugged terrain that they're fighting in, so they need those water drops, they need those retardants, and we are on 6 Mile Road, further in from the town of Murphy. So the reason why we're wearing a face mask is because there's a lot more smoke. Even though it's lessened, we're closer to the smoke. But you can just take a look how that fire has jumped to that side. This is one of the few instances where that fire jumped the 6 Mile Road and started going towards this area here. But crews have done a great job of really getting a handle on this fire, because initially fire crews were worried about this fast-moving fire putting homes and lives at risk. The so-called 2.7 fire ignited just around noon, as we've had agencies from multiple areas, this one from Modesto Fire, coming to help with this fire. And as you mentioned, this fire has burned 500 acres. It is 0% contained, but crews have been breathing a sigh of relief a little bit, but they have been going through, putting out hot spots, and that is kind of their battle at this point, using the airplanes in the air to put out any of those hard to get to fires, and then using the ground crews to really attack them, because you need these ground crews. That is how fires are put out. But things are looking much better. More and more aircraft coming here to really help this out. So things are looking much better than they did just a few hours ago. They were panicked about what this could do, but hopefully everything stays the same, and they'll have really have an upper hand later on this evening. Reporting live from Calaveras County, Garshpal Sangha, ABC 10.
Yeah, Garshpal, we see those crews tackling this massive fire from the air and from the ground. So glad to hear that they are making some progress out there. Thank you for that update. And as we mentioned, weather's playing a big role in these fires, and the situation, as we saw, is still active across the area. Brendan, fire crews certainly dealing with some tough, smoky conditions.
Yeah, smoky air quality is reduced across the foothills and the Sierra, including up near Tahoe. And some of that smoke was even coming from the larger fire down near Fresno earlier today. Air quality is going to be a concern as we go through the next several hours, but this all started because of some lightning that we had early this morning down in the valley and in the lower foothills, and you see some of those storms there between about 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. this morning. We had storms moving through the lower part of the valley, through Stanislaus County, through the Mother Lode, and then one little isolated storm right here near Murphys by about noon. Any one of these lightning strikes could have sparked a fire, potentially the one that sparked that 2.7 fire near Murphys that may have come from that lunchtime thunderstorm. And speaking of thunderstorms, we have a stronger storm once again as storms continue across the high country. This one near Blue Canyon, 55-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-inch hail along with some lightning. Let's move into the valley a little bit, though. Yuba City and Marysville starting to see some showers in the valley at this hour. We'll keep an eye on that one and whether we see any additional valley showers this evening. It is now the TCU September Lightning Complex fire, 9 fires in total. The biggest one at this hour, the 6.5 fire, which is almost 3,000 acres down in Tuolumne County. Here's a look at the 2.7 fire in Calaveras, though. This is the one Garshpal is at, about 500 acres, and you can see some of the smoke there off in the distance. And then this one is, again, the biggest fire, the 6.5 fire. Right now, the fire perimeter takes it all the way up to Chinese Camp. There's a lot of power outages, a lot of evacuation orders in this area. The only camera that has an eye on this fire is very far away, so we're looking at it from a distance. What we see here is the smoke from that 6.5 fire, and unfortunately, we're going to have another chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, so in a very active pattern, Laura, continues.
Okay, Brendan, thank you. Tonight, a family in Slough House House is sharing how they narrowly escaped after lightning strikes that Brendan mentioned sparked a fast-moving fire on their rural property today. The fire was fueled by dry conditions, strong winds, and forced the family to flee their home as it became engulfed in smoke. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias joins us live from the scene. And Roxanne, a terrifying ordeal. Tell us just how close this fire came to their home.
Well, Laura, I mean, if you could just take a look here behind me, you can see what's left is just dozens and dozens of acres of charred land. And it's left the family a little shaken up here because if you could take a look, you could see just how the ground is scorched almost just feet before reaching the home. And that was before firefighters were able to stop it in its tracks. Jeremy Bailey waters what's left of his scorched property near the intersection of Ione and Pony Brown roads. He's putting out hot spots while reflecting on how lucky his family feels.
I woke up this morning, wind was blowing pretty good, looked up the hill, you could see thunder and lightning, kind of debated whether to go to work. Guess I probably should have stayed home now.
It was around 4:30 in the morning on Tuesday when he drove to work. A few hours later, around 8 a.m., his son Eli called to let him know a fire set off by lightning was creeping up on their home. The family sharing this photo.
It was low to the ground and then it was high within minutes, so we were just lucky to get out when we did.
Eli and his boyfriend Dayton Bowles say they hopped in a car driving to safety as fire crews arrived.
As we're driving out, we were engulfed in smoke, couldn't see 5 feet in front of my own face. All I saw was the light trucks. I was slamming on my horn to make sure they knew I was trying to get out. If that gate wasn't open, they wouldn't have been able to get out and we wouldn't have, so it was definitely scary.
Jeremy says he had just bought the 23 acres of property about a month ago. And as a first-time farmer, he was planning to use it for cows and chickens. The father admits he knew there was a fire risk, but that doesn't make it any easier to see the damage.
It's like you work so hard and you put your whole nest egg into it, and just thank you, to everybody that worked so hard, to put all this together. It's overwhelming in a way, for sure.
Captain Mark Nunez with Sac Metro Fire says these types of fires show it's still summer, although the weather is starting to change.
The grass is still very dry, the humidity is still low. When we get incidents where we have dry lightning that are starting fires, those fires have the ability to take off, just like we're seeing today.
Jeremy says he still plans on farming the land once the grass grows again. And with fires flaring up in the region, the thankful father now asking neighbors to take care of each other.
Keep your eyes out, kind of help each other out, and, always extend that hand when you can.
The family says they are extremely grateful to firefighters for saving their home. They also say they plan to be a little bit more prepared next time for when or if this happens again. I'm live in Slough House. Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Yeah, Roxanne, that fire footprint behind you is massive, but thank goodness the family and their home are doing okay. No one was harmed. Roxanne, thank you. Meanwhile, strong winds whipped through Carmichael this morning, uprooting trees and damaging homes. It knocked out power for thousands of customers this morning. ABC 10's Luke Clary shares what happened and what people saw.
What you see here, the damage at this home in Carmichael, the fallen tree is the result of a downburst. That's what you call the powerful straight line winds that come down from a dying storm. With peak wind gusts today of 70 miles per hour, you can see the damage everywhere. High winds across Carmichael, ripping through the trees.
We just see tons of leaves flying by and everybody's getting hit. And we're like, why is everything getting crazy?
Some trees crashed to the ground, onto fences, and into power lines, knocking out power for more than 7,000 customers at one point. And Sacramento County says 11 traffic signals went dark. Including this one on Winding Way. The drivers were shaken up, but okay. The county says most traffic signals were back online within an hour. Damage stretched about 2.5 miles long and 1.5 miles wide. An old pistache tree landed right on the roof of Stan Muther's home. What was it like?
It was pretty scary because We were just sitting in the living room and we saw this huge bust of wind.
He's lived here for 37 years and has never seen anything like this storm.
It sounded like an explosion. It was so the wind was so heavy that, it sounded like a bomb going off or something.
As of early this evening, there were a few hundred customers still without power, but that's down significantly from 7,500 customers without power shortly after the storm. But as you can see, the recovery efforts continue. Reporting in Carmichael, Luke Clary, ABC 10.
Luke, thank you. Remember, you can get the latest in-depth and extended forecasts anytime by going to the ABC 10 Plus streaming app. It's free to download on your TV.